You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Alright, so my name's Raul. What's yours again?
Nay.
How do you spell that?
N-A-Y.
N-A-Y. Okay, nice to meet you, Nay. So I'm out conducting interviews concerning some belief that people hold to, which I like for you to identify, and then I can interview you concerning like how you arrived at that belief and your level of confidence that that belief is true and so forth.
Beliefs about?
It's up to you. It could be religious beliefs. It could be supernatural. It can be paranormal. It could be political. It can be any belief that you're fairly certain of, that's deeply held and that serves as somewhat of like a foundation for your understanding, your view of the world, some knowledge claim about the world.
So, for example, like me believing in God?
That would be one example.
Okay,
right.
So yeah, I do believe in God. And
okay.
How I got to that, I mean, my mom's a Christian, so I was kind of born into it, like, you know, raised around God and stuff in that nature.
Okay, so you were born into, did you say Christianity?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big reason why you believe in what you believe in. How do you know that your belief is true?
Well, I can say, basically, I believe it's true because if you've been learning about something since you were a child, it's just, it has grown until you making it no reason for it not to be true.
So, if you're raised with a belief and it grows onto you, does that necessarily mean that it's true? Is it possible for
somebody else can have a different opinion if they weren't like raised into it or grown into it, but I believe it's true because if it's something that you've been learning since you were a child, I mean, and you have no other reason not to believe it's not true, then of course it'll be true.
I like to get a sense of how confident you are for your belief, and I like to do that by giving you a scale and placing and have you place yourself on that scale.
Okay.
As far as how certain you are. So on a scale of 0 to 100, with 100% being absolute certainty, how certain would you say you are of your belief that God exists?
100.
100. Okay. So do you feel like being raised to believe something warrants 100% certainty that that thing is true?
I mean, I can say someone can be born into Christianity and believe in Christianity, but as they grow up, they can experience something different and also like believe in something else. Say, okay, you come here and you go to an organization that's different from Christianity and you see their beliefs and then you'll be like, oh, okay, that's something different. I mean, you can question your Christianity, but it's still, you still have a true thought there, but then you also have like a different thought on something else.
Okay. Do you think it's possible for somebody to be raised to believe something and yet that thing not be true?
It can be so. Like it's like 50-50.
Okay. So how do we distinguish between somebody being raised to believe something and it being true and somebody being raised to believe something and it not being true? How would somebody tell the difference if they were raised to believe something?
I believe it's within. Like I believe it's within because you can feel that something is true to me. Like, for example, the example that I gave before, just because not everybody will react the same as me. Like, oh, you can feel this way, but you can feel this way, but you feel stronger about this. I feel like I still know that this is true, but this is just like a thought, basically.
So you said it's within. Somebody can feel it's true.
I feel like it's all within.
Okay. And do you feel that to be a reliable method of establishing the truthfulness of a belief?
Yes.
Okay. What if somebody? So you said you were raised Christian. What if somebody from a different belief system, let's say Islam, for example, gave that reason for why they believe in what they believe in? They said, well, this is what I was raised to believe in. I feel it's true. I feel it within that Islam is true. What do you think that would be a good reason for why you might accept it?
I think so.
Okay. So if somebody from a Christian upbringing can say, can believe something, and somebody from a Muslim upbringing can believe something, are they both equally true?
I believe so.
Okay. How is that? How can they both be equally true? How is it the case that these contradictory claims can both at the same time be true?
Because it's not based off like I can feel mine is true, they can feel theirs is true. It's not like a not really an altercation. I can't use altercation, but it's not. Let's see how I can put this. Just because I feel mine is true and just because they feel theirs is true doesn't mean we have to have like a problem with it because we have different beliefs. Mm-hmm. So it can still be 100% true on their end, 100% true on my end. It's just different beliefs.
Okay.
Like it's not really a right or wrong answer. It's mm-hmm. basically like, okay, you believe this, I believe this. Mm-hmm. It kind of is what it is. It's not like well, you're wrong because Christianity matters more. No.
Do you think it's important for us to hold beliefs that match with reality?
Say that one more time.
Do you think it's important for us to hold beliefs that match with reality?
Kinda, sorta, because I mean, some people really don't believe in God because you can't see Him and mm-hmm. stuff like that. So I feel like that doesn't matter. It's like a spiritual thing. So just because you can't see God doesn't mean He's not real.
If your belief was not true,
mm-hmm.
would you want to know that theoretically? Let's say Christianity was not true. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you would want to know?
I mean, I would listen, but I still believe Christianity is true. I mean, that's just like somebody else's opinion. Like they could be like, oh, well, Christianity isn't true because this, and that. I would listen to it, but I mean, I still would believe it's true.
Okay. What would decrease your confidence level in your belief?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. And why is that?
Because it's like like I said before, Christianity is like within me. So just because someone's saying, oh, I wouldn't say negative, but giving a different opinion on Christianity, saying like, okay, oh, well, I don't believe in Christianity because of this, and that. It's still, I believe in that because of that plus more. So it's not only because of what they think is within myself.
Okay. So you keep talking about how it's within us. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in evaluating the reliability of this method of looking within as a way of determining what's true. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you believe that to be a reliable method, right? Mm-hmm. We should look within.
Mm-hmm. Basically within as in like, I mean, I learned that within church, like church made a good impact. My mom made an impact. Like, I say it's within because, can't even explain this. I say it's within because as I was a child, like, you know, my mom talked about Christianity, going to church, stuff in that nature. So basically, once you learn something and you grow up around it, it just attaches to you. Mm-hmm. So that's why I consider it within.
Is it possible for somebody to feel something is true and yet be mistaken?
I mean, wait. Say that one more time. Yeah, I kind of...
Yeah. Is it possible for somebody to feel within that something is true and yet they be mistaken?
Oh, wait, no. Because it's still the same. Like, if it's true to you, then it's true. Like, it's nothing that can change that outlook on it.
Okay. What if we're trying to determine not just what's true for you, mm-hmm. but what if we're trying to determine what corresponds with reality?
So basically, someone else's opinion on it? Like, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, so if somebody says, I feel within that my belief is true, but it doesn't correspond with reality, do you think that's something that they should believe in if it's objectively not true, if it's objectively false, if the reality doesn't match up with their belief? Should they abandon that belief, or should they?
They shouldn't abandon their belief just because some evidence was false. I mean, that evidence could have been within somebody else's belief, so they're giving other opinions based off their belief, trying to influence another belief. So basically, like, okay, like you said before, of an Islam person, like, okay, well, this, and that, but trying to influence me, but it's still my belief on Christianity. Like, I don't feel like that would be right.
What if somebody was presented with information that was undeniable? It wasn't theoretically here. It wasn't somebody's opinion. Like it was true. It was true facts about the world that can be demonstrated, however that may be. Do you think that somebody should be willing to conform their beliefs with reality in light of new evidence, or should they persist in their currently held belief?
I would persist to my current beliefs. Like, I mean, it still wouldn't change me.
Yeah, I find that really interesting. So do you believe that it's important to match our beliefs with reality?
I mean, you can, but I mean, you can, but it's still like, well, I believe you can. You should match your, well, no, because it's still to that, like, okay, with the God situation, just because you can't see him doesn't mean he's not real, and I still believe that, like.
Do you think it's ideal to have beliefs that match reality, or to have beliefs that don't match with reality? Which of those would you say is the ideal situation?
Well, if you put it that way, kind of match with reality.
So in your case, you said you believe that God exists. How do you determine that your belief matches reality?
Basically, if I'm having an issue and I pray, God answered my prayers. He talks back to me and is able to help me throughout anything that I'm going through.
Okay, so answered prayer. And how do you determine that when you pray and something happens, that was God?
Say that again.
How do you determine that when you pray and something happens, how do you determine that was due to the existence of God?
Because of me talking directly to him. I mean, it's like a Christianity thing. If you're praying, and praying kind of deals with, like, well, when I pray, I direct it towards God. So therefore, I don't feel as if nobody else is answering that prayer but God. Like, I'm praying to him to help me. So, yeah.
What if somebody, back to the example of a Muslim, what if a Muslim say they prayed to Allah and it came true? Would you therefore become a Muslim?
No, that's just, they're praying to their God. And I pray to my God. So it's different.
Okay. So as the objective observer, if I'm looking at you as the Christian talking about your prayers being answered and how that proves that God exists, the God of the Bible, and then I have the Muslim over here saying the same thing, that they prayed to their God and their prayer came true, and therefore they know that Allah exists. How do I determine whose belief matches with reality?
I feel as if both of ours do, because it's a different opinion on everything. Like, just because both our prayers got answered to our God doesn't mean mine is not true because I have a different God, or theirs is not true because they have a different God. I still feel like both matches up to reality if both of our prayers was answered. If both of us say, oh, okay, well, my God answered this, my God answered that. Like, I still feel like it's both.
We have a parking lot right over here, right? If I were to ask you whether there's an even number or an odd number of cars in that parking lot, is it possible for both of those things to be true at the same time?
Even and odd? Of course not.
Okay. What if one person says they believe there's an odd number of cars because it's true for them, and another person says they believe it's an even number of cars because it's true for them?
See, I feel like that's a right or wrong answer. Like, you can actually count the cars and actually see if it's even or odd. But I still feel like my beliefs is kind of my beliefs and theirs is theirs. So I don't feel like dealing with religion or stuff in that nature, it's not a right or wrong answer because it's your beliefs. like it's your opinion on stuff, so it can't be a right or wrong answer. Counting cars can be different because that can be proven basically, oh, there's 5 because I counted them.
Mm-hmm.
But beliefs and religion is based off different, like that's different from counting cars to me.
Do you believe that God, the God that you believe in, actually exists, and that it's more than just like in your head?
Mm-hmm.
And so it would seem like the analogy holds true in that sense, because there really exists either an even number or an odd number of cars. Like you said, we can count them.
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, you're saying when it comes to God, He really exists. It's not just in my head. He exists just as much as there's either an even number or an odd number of cars.
Mm-hmm. But just because, say your religion is different, which I don't know, but say if your religion is different, just because you can't see my God doesn't mean He's not real. So it'll be different. Just because you can't see Him doesn't mean He's not real. That's just based off your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I still feel that's different, because we can look at the cars and actually count them, but you probably can't see my God as I can see Him.
So you're saying we can't prove the existence of this God or that God like we can the number of cars in the parking lot?
Well, basically, yeah.
Do you feel like we're justified in holding to, or you're justified in holding this belief even though you can't verify it in the same way you can like cars?
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it, Nay. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Have a good day.